Hey everybody, so I kind of want to come on here and do a video series the next couple weeks leading up until Christmas. And if you have been paying attention to my Facebook page, I kind of talked about trusting in God this past week with posting 2 different scriptures. And I want to go through like the birth story of Jesus and how we can take different examples in this story and put it to work in our life every day. And so this week I want to start off with Mary, her becoming pregnant with Jesus, and she had found favor in God's sight. God saw her as someone who would believe and someone who would trust and someone who would have faith. She was seen as a willing vessel. She found favor with God. And so an angel comes to her and explains this to her and tells her not to fear and all these things. And, Mary asks, how could this be? Because I'm a virgin. I've never knew any man. And the angel explains, the Holy Spirit would come upon her, and she'd become pregnant, and the child would be pure and sinless, and he would be the Son of God. And so she says, and like I said, this is all in Luke chapter 1. And she says, let me see where it's at. The angel tells her, "For with God nothing is or ever shall be impossible." And then Mary says, "Behold, I am the servant of the Lord. May it be done to me according to your word." So she trusted in him. She believed that what God said would come to pass. And so many times in our own lives, we hear a word, we get a word, we read the word, we get these scriptures, we get these promises, and we don't fully believe and trust that it could actually happen for us, that it could actually work in our lives. And all God needs us to do is to trust him and to have faith in him and to believe in him so that he can work through us and use us as his vessel to bring to pass the things that he's promised us. And Mary's a good example that she was willing. She found favor, and I want to be like Mary. I want to find favor in the sight of God. I want him to look at me and see me as a faithful servant and as someone that he can use and bring to pass what he said that he would. And Mary goes on to visit Elizabeth, her cousin, who was barren, and she's now pregnant in her 6th month of pregnancy. And as soon as Mary sees Elizabeth and Elizabeth hears her, the baby in her stomach jump, it leaps, and she's automatically filled with the Holy Spirit. And Elizabeth says, and she exclaimed loudly, "Blessed, worthy to be praised, are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb." And then it goes down some more, and it says, "And blessed, spiritually fortunate, and favored by God is she who believed and confidently trusted that there would be a fulfillment of the things that were spoken to her by the angel sent from the Lord." I don't know about you, but I want to be found spiritually fortunate and favored by God. I want him to see me as somebody who he can use. And Mary was that person. I mean, she had to have been special for God to trust her to raise his son on earth and to raise him and guide him and take care of him as his earthly mother. And it was because she believed and confidently trusted that those things would be fulfilled. You have to confidently trust that what God says about your health will happen, what God says about your finances will happen, what God says about your marriage will happen, and your kids, and all these things. These promises are available to us, and we have to be like Mary and trust and believe that what God has said will come to pass in our lives. And that's just what I want to share in this first video. We can all be a little bit more like Mary, especially me. I'm going through trials right now in my life and my health, and it could be so easy to be like, why me? Why is this happening? But I can tell you why. It's because I'm faithful and I trust God and I believe in him, and that makes the devil mad, and so he's attacking me. But it's not going to stop me from continuing to go after God and continuing to fix my faith and work on my faith and push it more and speak it more and go after it more. I'm not going to let the devil try and distract me, and that's what he does. He tries to distract us because, like the angel brings up, that Elizabeth became pregnant even though she was barren. And he brings that up to Mary to say, like, God did this and he will do this for you too. And sometimes we forget what God has done in our lives. He's done so much for me. He's made so many things happen, and I can trust and know that he's done that, and he will do this too for me because I believe and I trust in him, because he is my provider, he's my healer, he's my comforter. And And I am finding favor in His sight like Mary did, because I am being that vessel, and I encourage you to be that vessel too. So stay tuned for next week, and I'll speak more on a different part of the story and share kind of what God's showing me. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed.